Thank you so much for joining us once again for another in our series, A Story to Tell. Today we have with us Mr. Stefan Richards, and he'll be sharing some of his life experiences with us. Before we begin, just to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not already done so, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of when we publish videos. Also, to be a part of our WhatsApp community, the description will have the WhatsApp number so you can become a part of us as well. Stefan, how are you doing?
I'm good.
So you went to Woolman's Prep.
Yes.
Okay, how was those years at Woolman's? You remember anything much? Or it's still long ago?
Yeah, no. I mean, actually, yesterday I was hanging out with some friends from Women's Prep. At least one guy. It was fun. It was great. I actually started off at St. Teresa's Prep for my first year, and I was late like every morning. And then we moved to Women's Prep, and I did kindergarten all the way up to grade 6.
Were you involved in anything at school?
Yeah, so I did quite a lot. My mom kind of put me in everything. So I did chess, I swam, I did tennis, badminton, anything that offered, I was kind of like a part of it.
Okay.
Except for football, I never like play football.
So you're basically an all-rounder then?
Yeah, generally, yeah. I used to come first in my class every year, except for grade 2.
Oh, so you were a top performer from
Yeah,
then?
except for grade 2.
So is it that you were born brilliant, or you had to put in some extra work and extra lesson and Saturday class? And
No, I mean, I
how would you
usually,
put it?
I was good at school. I tend to be good at school without having to put in that much work.
That much work?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell people I listened in class, I never had to study after class.
Okay, so you'd have to do the double work.
yeah.
You just make it count the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, and you went on and you did GSAT.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. I ended up getting a government scholarship and
I hear
going to
some
Campion.
students say that GSAT is easy. Was that for you? The same?
I mean, I don't know. I got 200s.
Sound pretty easy to me.
But no, I remember it being stressful. I think. Yeah. I remember like because it's such a big step
Yeah.
in your life. I
So maybe the
remember
nerves of the
thinking,
occasion.
yeah, thinking I need extra help. So I actually did go to Dr. Darway for like a few months in grade 6 to like prepare for for GSAT.
And you had any knowledge of the schools that you wanted to go to?
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Campion.
Okay,
Yeah.
why is that?
I heard it was a good school, and I was like, if it's the best school, I want to go to the best
The
school.
base of the base. So you opted for Campion and you got through.
and I got through. Yeah.
Okay, so what was life being in first form at Campion, getting government scholarship and
I
all
mean,
that
everybody else there got a government scholarship, so it was like.
stuff? So you say you become one of the many.
Yeah,
You weren't special.
it was an interesting transition, being like, always at least top 3 of your entire grade, to being hopefully top 10 of your class, and then not even knowing what you are in comparison to the other classes.
So your first year at Campion, you were in the top 2 as the norm back at Woolman's?
No. I think I think I was in top 8 my
Top
first
8.
like 2 reports, and then
Competition getting stronger.
yeah, and then my 3rd report I think I came 27th or something,
Yes.
and I was like, oh no.
My
So I have to
God.
figure that out.
But those averages were probably above 80, right?
Oh, of course. I
Yes.
think they were like solidly in the 80s.
Mhm.
I think they were probably even 88 around there.
But you had to do it exceptionally well to be in the
Yeah.
top 5.
Yeah, and exams were hard, and it was just different.
Mhm.
And everybody was an overachiever.
So you're not coming from a rich background, I would say.
No.
So how did it feel getting accustomed to the Campion environment? Because majority of those students are pretty much middle
Yeah.
to upper.
I would definitely say majority. But I wasn't rich, but I had a lot of experiences. I had met a lot of people growing up who were well off generally. So it wasn't too startling to me. Like, I think I knew how to act in the environment and how to kind of get along with people of that background, of varying backgrounds,
And you
because
were-
there was definitely a wide range at Campion.
Yes. Were you disadvantaged in any way based on your resources that you had, and your mom probably had limited resources? And
Well,
stuff?
she went above and beyond, right? So
Yeah.
it was no, because maybe I couldn't, maybe other people had drivers or so on, so they could get to swim practice or whatever they need to get to on time. But then she would do it, yeah. So probably she was more disadvantaged because she had a lot more personal work to do. But no, I felt like I could do anything I wanted to do. I never felt like anyone was going to stop me from doing something.
And your school involvement continued at Campion as well?
Yes, I was. I did chess actually. For one of our chess meets, I was on the B team because I think I was in first form, and the B team ended up beating our A team because they submitted 2 teams. So I was the captain of the B team, and that was one of my proudest chess moments.
Yeah. So you moved on in Campion, 4th form, 5th form. At that time, did you come to the understanding or the conclusion of what you wanted to be in life, your career path?
So when you're talking about children from different socioeconomic backgrounds, a big thing at Campion was everyone going abroad to boarding school.
Okay.
Around 4th form, everyone not everyone, but a good amount of people, you hear about it. So I decided I wanted to go to boarding school because it sounded interesting. And that's what I decided to do when I was in like 4th, 5th form. I knew I wanted to go abroad to college because I knew I didn't want to be a doctor and I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a lawyer. And I felt like those were the only 2 options available to me in Jamaica. So I said I want to go abroad. I didn't know what I wanted to study, but I think I wanted to go into diplomacy. So I looked up boarding schools and spoke to people and found one called United World Colleges. And their value proposition, if you will, is that they accept students from over 90 countries, and there's no clear majority, so it's not like in the US where they accept students from many countries, but they're mostly Americans. So I thought that'd be interesting, so I can meet people from everywhere and understand the differences and different cultural backgrounds.
Is there a particular reason why you chose diplomacy?
Yeah, my mom. She'll probably keep factoring into this story as we go along.
Yes. She's the common factor throughout your life.
It was fun because like traveling with her and like going to her office, it was always just like an interesting experience to meet people who spoke different languages. The work they did seemed fulfilling. And you could get to travel and meet and see different places. And I was like,
so from your
that was my limited understanding of diplomacy.
Yes, from your younger growing up, your mother was in that field and you basically were with her most of the time.
Yeah, she would like
basically rubbed off. Yeah,
she'd borrow money and buy a plane ticket and take me to St. Lucia or Aruba, wherever we went, to her conferences.
Which one of those trips, as a young boy growing up, was your most memorable?
I don't know.
All of them?
Yeah, they were all pretty interesting. I remember. I think it was Antigua. I was there for 2 weeks during school. And I met a bunch of Scottish people and they gave me a kilt and a bunch of things. But I'm not conscious about anything. And so so I just spent my day in the sun for a good 14 days.
Wow.
So when I got back to Campion, they asked if something happened to me. Because I was so dark. Like so very dark. I looked burnt to a crisp. But it was fun, it was a good time.
So you did your CXCs at Campion, and how was that?
Well, I got 10 ones.
Wow.
Wasn't necessarily expecting it.
No, Stefan, you're probably born bright.
I was really expecting it. You never know. Honestly, you never know with exams. Like, could go well. Everybody gets all ones. Like, not everybody, but
majority.
Yeah, like, because I had already gone to boarding school by the time they give you an award. Campion gives you an award if you get 8 ones or more. I think maybe 50 or more persons got that award. I got the award, but so did everyone else at school.
So which one of the colleges did you choose?
So I went to UWC first, which for boarding, so like 2 years of 6th form.
UWC?
So United World Colleges. Okay. It's a group of schools, about 15, founded in Wales. Now they're all over the world and they admit students from about 90 countries. 90 countries. And their goal is to make education a force for peace and a sustainable future.
Pretty interesting.
So it was founded right after World War II, and it was supposed to be like, okay, France, you've been fighting Germany, you've been fighting France. We're going to take kids from both countries, and you guys are going to become friends.
Yes.
And they're supposed to choose who they think will be future leaders of those countries, so that when those people become leaders, they can put a face to the country. They won't be like, oh, we're going to war with I don't know, Ghana. We're not
Yeah.
going to war with Ghana. They won't think, oh, Ghana. They'll think, I have a
person
lot
they
of
went
friends
to
in
school
Ghana.
with,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know, yeah.
So it's
It'd be more
really aimed at
relatable.
breaking down the cycle of the war and
Yeah.
that thing. Okay, and so you left. What year was that now? That was
2011.
2011,
hmm
and that program lasted for how long?
2 years.
2 year program. So we were away from your mother now for the very
That was
first
a fun
time
time.
for extended time. How was that adjustment?
I think it was harder for mommy than it was for me. I remember going to the airport and she was like crying, crying, crying the entire time at the airport.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but I think it was good. I got used to living on my own in a sense. Yeah. I mean, honestly, those 2 years were probably the 2 best years of my life. They were
Yeah.
great. They were really
So I guess it
amazing.
ran off pretty quickly then.
Yeah, it was very quick. I didn't like it in the beginning,
Mhm.
but when you look back, it was really fun.
So what program you completed there?
The International Baccalaureate. So it's called IB. They have it in Jamaica too.
Okay.
But
Okay, so after the Royal, I can't remember the name.
United World College?
United Royal College. After the-
United World College. The
You-
Queen is a patron, but
Yeah,
like,
so it's not,
it's not royal.
It's World College.
Yes.
So after the United World College, where did your trek take you?
I went to Vassar College in New York, upstate New York. Lots of snow. And I actually found it in a book. So when I was applying to schools, we had 8 schools we could apply to. I don't know anything about US colleges really. So I was like, okay, I'll apply to Harvard, Princeton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I applied to Harvard, Princeton. I was like, I have to apply something else. So I looked through this book that my roommate had called 365 Best US Colleges and Universities.
So much colleges there?
Oh, they have thousands.
Wow.
So I looked through the book and used to like put things being like, oh, this one looks interesting, that looks interesting, this one I have enough money.
Yeah.
And then it came down, so I applied to 7 schools. Then I had Vassar and Pomona were 2 schools I was considering. But this was, so when you're applying to schools in the US, in around Christmas time, that's when you're submitting all the applications. So this was probably December 30th, like it was almost New Year's, I'm tired. And I've been writing a bunch of essays for all these
Yes.
applications. And Pomona had a supplement, so I had to write an additional essay for them.
Yes.
Vassar had no additional essays. So I applied to Vassar. And I got into Vassar.
Okay, so you didn't bother with that one.
I couldn't do Pomona.
The Pomona.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are now in Vassar. So you got accepted to the others?
Yeah, I got accepted to a few. I got accepted to 4.
So why you chose Vassar?
They gave me the most money. And they didn't necessarily give me the most money because I told another school that Vassar had given me that amount. And then
terms
the
of
other
a
school
scholarship?
offered me more, yes.
In terms of
Yes.
so you got a scholarship.
Yeah.
Okay, and it covered pretty much.
Yeah, the school itself was 70,000 US a year. So I wasn't going to pay that.
Wow.
So I got scholarship, yeah. I think it was like 65,000, I don't know. It was most of it.
So you're now in the US at a college. What's the difference of environment versus the one back in Wales?
It was all different. I mean, you're so young. I was so young in boarding school. It was all very
You were
different.
like, what age were you?
I
when
was
you entered Vassar?
17, 18, and in Vassar I turned 19.
19 at Vassar.
So it was different. I was more accustomed to living on my own. I knew how to be around people, how to go out, how to make friends. That's a big part of like going to these new like residential schools. Everyone at the beginning, they don't know how to talk to people, what to do.
Yes.
So I was more at ease with just like being myself.
And like the teaching style was similar,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, I would say less hand holding, but you could just do more things because UWC was very structured. You had 6 areas of interest and you had to pick a subject from each one. Vassar was very free form. You only had to do a language at some point and you had to do a quantitative course at some point. Everything else you're free to choose. So I did religion, I did art history, I did anything you wanted to do really.
What's your most memorable moment at Vassar?
I don't know. I had a lot of memorable moments. Most memorable?
Can't remember at the moment.
I can't pick one.
Alright, what about What
Childhood
about
is-
what about a difficult period during your years at Vassar?
Well, senior year, but it's not like I thought I couldn't go through it. I'm like, it's ending. It's ending. It was only trying because it's like the end. So actually, this past weekend, I was at Vassar because they invited me up for a career fair to talk about what I do and inspire the students.
Yeah.
And they had lots of questions that were similar to my questions when I was at Vassar, where it's like, what are you going to do when you finish school? It's very scary, it's a very scary time.
Yes.
And yeah, I just remember feeling like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I thought I was going to go to law school, but it was very expensive. And then all your friends are leaving too, so you're just like, you're not sure.
Not sure what's
So it's very uncertain, and all that
Yes.
uncertainty is very jarring and scary.
Yes. Okay, so it's more like not knowing what's going to happen next. and
Yeah,
that feeling
but
of
I never thought
uncertainty.
I'm not going to finish. It's
Yes.
more like I'm here
But
and
what's
I am
next?
finishing,
Yeah.
but so I need to figure out what I'm going to
What I'm
do.
going to do next. So you left. You graduated. In what year now? What were you? The year that you studied at Vassar?
I did economics and French and Francophone studies.
Francophone.
They renamed the department at some point. It used to be French, but because they study more than just the language, they call it Francophone studies,
Okay.
which is French speaking.
Okay. Okay.
So you'll do that, yeah.
Okay. So you went into economics.
Yes.
Okay. So did you come to the conclusion of what you were going to do next after all that anxious moment?
Yeah, so I had an idea. So I looked at places at the World Bank and I realized you need a master's to work there. So I decided to just go straight into my master's. So I applied to my master's in London, went to the School of Oriental and African Studies called SOAS, and did my master's in development economics and then got a job.
Okay, so you got a scholarship for the art?
Yeah, so actually, so I got into the school first and then applied to a fellowship that allows you to study outside of the US, and I got the fellowship called Maguire Fellowship, and then I went.
So what does that cover?
It covered tuition, so I had to cover housing.
Okay.
But then NCB gave me a foundation scholarship, and that helped with housing.
Yes, you were involved in.
And then I worked at Jamaica National.
I soon come to that. Yeah, you were involved in that NCB internship. Tell us a little about that with the other students there.
So interestingly enough, so this morning before church, I actually went with a friend I made from the internship program up to a river. But it's fun. I don't know. A lot of my life has been fun just because I make friends everywhere I go and I keep in contact with them. But it's interesting. So it was about innovation. They created an innovation lab and they wanted to basically get a youth perspective on their products and services. So we were supposed to pitch weekly a new idea for how they could better their services, create a new product or whatever, or compete with like other banks in Jamaica. And it was pretty interesting because you really had to think, and then it really opened your presentation skills. Yes, every week you had a different challenge. You're either supposed to solve this problem or create a new product. But then they invited the heads of NCB to come in to the room once a week to listen to our pitch. And so we had to pitch it to them and tell them how much money they'd save and whatnot. So it's interesting.
Yes, and you were talking about your first job now.
At Jamaica National.
JMB, yeah.
So the job I did that while I was at school to make extra money. It was a job. I didn't do that much.
Didn't do that much?
I did, but I mean, it wasn't. It didn't spark my intellectual curiosity, I guess.
Yeah, it was officially your first job, right?
No. I mean, I had a bunch of summer jobs, and I worked at school. I worked on campus the entire time I was there.
Okay.
I used to work at the residential areas to give people keys if they're locked out of their room. Different things.
Okay, so you did a lot of things during college as well to try and offset certain costs.
So I could have spending money.
Okay.
And then I spent a year abroad in France, and I was a babysitter.
You were what?
A babysitter. So I babysat 3 children. What is it? 4.5, 3.5, and 2.5. Both.
It was a summer? It was during the summer?
No. There for a year. So I was there from August 21st actually to like May 28th or something.
That's good, man. So you're ready to have your child now?
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so. Keep guessing. keep getting. So,
No, it was fun. It was nice.
so you were telling us the story about how you get hired in this babysitter position. I still don't understand it because your mother was saying that she was really instrumental during the entire time, to say the least.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you
But
got you that
because
position.
like I heard about the job and I messaged them and they said come and we'll talk to you. And I went over and they were like, have you ever taken care of kids? I was like, nope. They're like, can you cook? Nope. They're like, all right, come back next week.
I don't understand. You said no to all the questions.
Yeah, they're just like, you seem reasonable. So
So you managed your cooking and all of those things.
I didn't. I'll call mommy and be like, I don't understand. Because their house was very, very French. So like, I already lived in a French house, but their house was very French. And they kept things in places I could not imagine. That's where they keep their dishes or whatever. So I had to ask mommy, where should I find salt? Should these things be? How do I season salmon? How do I turn on the oven?
So you have to call her every minute.
Every minute. I remember the first time I went to the supermarket when I was there. I was just like, what am I supposed to buy?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I know what I eat, but how do I get there?
Yeah.
Like, what do I purchase in order to make food?
Yeah, so there was a story about the jerk chicken and you traveling. Tell us about that story.
Okay, so when I was studying abroad in Paris, I went to Greece for about a few days to see Greece. But I had promised the people I was babysitting for that I'd have a dinner for them when I got back. But it just so happened I was landing at like 2 p.m. and I said the dinner was 5 p.m.
Wow.
So I ended up having to buy chicken in Greece, and because I was staying with my mom's old coworker, she actually had some jerk seasoning. So I bought chicken, I seasoned it in her kitchen, cut up the onion and everything, and then I put them in big Ziploc bags. I put it in my luggage, and I brought it with me on the plane to France.
And there was no issues.
There was no issue because in the EU, but the plane did smell like jerk chicken.
And you just went and put that on.
So I landed, went to their house, put it in the fridge, went to my house, put down my suitcase and like changed and grabbed some things, went back to their house and started cooking. I made some rice and peas, some jerk chicken, and then I did put a little what did I put on
sauce.
it? Like parsley or something
Yes.
on top to make garnish it.
So
I garnished it.
They enjoyed that dinner.
Oh, they loved it. They loved it. They're like seasoning, spice.
What
Great.
about those kids you were taking care of? Have you been in contact with them recently?
I haven't seen them in a while. I know that the mom had messaged me on Facebook saying her son Elliot was just like, Mommy, we haven't seen Stefan in a while, have we? This was like maybe 6 months after I was working there. Yeah, so it was fun. It was nice.
So basically, everywhere you went, you basically made friends with a lot of persons.
Yeah, and I find that very fulfilling to have a connection with the people from the place. So then there's a reason for you to go back. Now when I go back to France, I have a bunch of people.
Yeah, you can link up.
Yeah, and I actually feel I need to go back and see them. But when I go anywhere, when I go most places, I do travel quite a bit, but I mostly travel not to see places but to see people. So it comes back to make a connection with those people.
So you now have your masters in what again?
Development economics.
Development economics, and that job that you were eyeing at the IDB, you went for it.
Yes. Yes. So I got the job. But how did I get the job? Okay, so I knew someone who works at the office in Jamaica, and she actually went to my boarding school, but a different year. And I asked her, what could I do to make myself competitive for employment? And she just said, apply to internship and see what happens. And then if not, I can talk to her and see what else is possible. And I applied to internship, and I thought I didn't get it because the last day to get it had passed. And I was like, okay, they never email me, I never get it. And then like 2 days later, they emailed me, said, oh, interview, you have an interview. I was like, oh, wasn't ready because I was actually in Miami for my grandma's birthday. So thank God I brought my laptop, or else I could not have done it. So I brought my laptop, did the interview. Mommy was sitting like, interview? Yeah, it was a Skype interview. So mommy was sitting like behind the camera as she is now, and yeah, it was a good interview. I thought. I don't know if I got it.
What's the most difficult question they asked in that interview?
I don't remember. It wasn't not too crazy. Probably like how you conflict resolution or something like that. Yeah. Nothing too crazy, honestly. And I thought that was impressive. And then yeah, I got the internship. And I did the internship, and about a month into the internship, I told them I was considering working long term for them, and they said, "That's fine."
That's fine.
And then they came back maybe like a few days later saying with an offer of employment, and then I took it, and that's a year and a half ago, and I'm still there.
So you're based in Washington?
In DC, yes.
And it's you're a strategist.
Yes.
What does
what does that mean?
Day entails being a strategist in Washington?
We can say several things because our job changes all the time. A good way to put it is that we are board facing. So like how some people are client facing and they deal with giving loans, we are board facing. So our clients are the board. Yeah. So IDB is a multilateral development bank. So it's owned by 48 countries, Jamaica being one of them. Yeah. So the board is comprised of people representing those countries. So they have a lot of wants and desires. So what we do, we kind of package what has been done by the business, and we tell the board what has been done and what the business is planning to do. The board will say, we don't like that, we like that. And then we will package that, and then now either tell the business or create incentives or indicators to figure out, is the business performing in a way that makes sense to us, but also will please the board. And that's basically what we do. So it's a lot of reporting to the board, taking what they do, and like making action plans, business plans, or just talking to people and being like, this is what they want. Like, for instance, they want a new climate strategy.
Yes.
So we're in conversation with the climate experts to figure out how we can develop a new climate strategy.
And how has that been going? Seeing the current status of our
of the climate,
and
the climate change.
Yeah. Some persons probably don't think it's real, but
so yeah, and so even on our board, we have a bunch of different countries. So there are people on our board who don't want us to talk as much about the climate. But I would say IDB itself is very committed to mitigating the effects of climate change and adapting so that we don't experience more climate change.
So where you see yourself in the next few years? Probably
in Jamaica.
In Jamaica? You plan to come back home soon?
Yeah, I have a 5-year plan. I'm moving back, and you guys can hold me to that.
Okay.
Like, I'm definitely moving back.
Okay. And what area do you see yourself working in when you're back home?
I don't know. My main plan is to create some sort of development consultancy so that I can apply what I've learned at IDB and wherever else I may work and be open to Jamaica, but also the Caribbean in creating, different action plans, different strategic plans and initiatives for us to reach the point that we've been trying to get to.
I know you have outlined most of your experience, and it sounds pretty easy, like you were just sailing through, but it wasn't easy.
No.
Your mom was indicating to us how it has just been the mercies and the grace and the favor of God that has been upon your life wherever you went. Tell us a little about that part and
your
mother's influence in all of this.
I think we've heard enough about my mother's influence. But everything has definitely been by faith. For instance, even going to boarding school. Well, okay. We can start from, where should we even start from? We can start from GSAT, where that was a year where they had some cheating. So I was certain I was going to Kingston High. I ended up getting into Campion, but I was just like, everybody cheated. I don't know if I did that well, so I'm probably not going to get into Campion. Then I ended up doing well. From there, for UWC, we couldn't afford it. It was very expensive. I didn't end up getting that big of a scholarship. And I went to a community meeting, and then the mayor was there and he gave me a plane ticket.
Just like that?
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, we're going. We don't know how we're paying the school fee, but I have a ticket, so I'm going. So I think we bought the ticket like a week before I left. And I was late. Then even Vassar, just getting enough money to be able to go to a school like that, I always wanted to do things like this, but I never knew if it was possible, Because you never really saw anyone do it.
Yes.
I saw my mom do a bunch of things, but I'm thinking, go to Harvard or something. But, everyone always said, but that's rich people's school. You can't just go there. Then even getting the job was, it just kind of, I visualize it, and I put in the work, but it feels like it just kind of happens. And not just because it's easy, but because I'm just saying, well, if it don't happen, I don't know what's going to happen. So like, it has to happen.
So you did your best and you just...
Yeah, and I just really believe that, yeah, like, you know, God, you have to, like, you don't have to, but I hope you do, because what else am I supposed to do? So yeah, so definitely going to UWC, that was just went. I was like, okay, this is going to work, and it did. And then now I'm here, and now I'm sitting where I always thought I could, but I never knew if I would.
So looking back over your life, you have seen where favor has been shown by the Lord in your life.
I'm usually sitting on planes and just thinking, wow, I really made it to where I thought I could.
Tell us about the European tour after you graduated.
Oh, so then Mommy took me on a mini European tour when I left boarding school. That was in the UK, so it was easy to kind of go across. And then, so when I finished grad school, we did a 2-week tour from France through like Switzerland all the way down to Croatia, and then Serbia, and then back up to the UK. And it was fun. It was nice to do something, you know, for my mom, who clearly has always been there. So,
clearly.
from what we've said. But yeah, it was good. It was nice. It's just like being able to achieve things faster than I expected, and things that honestly I really thought was possible, but that's just because I believed anything was possible. I'd say because a lot of what I've done, for instance, when I was younger, I was always a bit foreign-minded, and I thought I was born in Miami, and I always wanted to go somewhere.
Thought you were born in Miami?
Yeah, I used to tell people I was born in Miami.
Okay.
But well, I definitely born at not all hospital down the road over there. Yeah. But I, like, looking back, I don't think I ever really wanted to leave, and that's currently my passion. I want to develop Jamaica enough that no one feels pressured to leave in order to find opportunities or make the best of themselves. Like, clearly you can travel and move to a different country if you want to move to another country, but not because you feel, oh, I'm here and the opportunities are there and I need to go there. I don't think that's fair, and I think moving forward, that's something that should be the vision for the plan, that everyone feels they have ample opportunities wherever they are.
Is there any word of encouragement you could probably offer to persons in similar situations coming up in Jamaica, have plans of traveling and getting involved in all of these things that you get involved? How would you encourage such a person?
I don't know, I have several things. I ask, I believe, I visualize, I do the work, but also ask. Because people, it's good to put yourself in community where people know things, people have things. So you may not know you don't know what people know, and you just don't know. So it's good to ask. It's good to ask, and you may actually get what you've been looking for.
By just asking.
By literally just asking. Now, a lot of times, you know, I'm in a country, I don't know where I'm going to stay. You ask, you find somewhere to stay. You ask someone, they say, oh, them have a friend who lives here, or them know somebody who just go up, or. So I think it's a lot about being, I would tell people I'm very intentional with my life, and so being very intentional with your life, and knowing where you want to be, and then knowing the friends you want to make, knowing every part of your life that you want, just thinking about it, so life doesn't happen to you, and you can make something of your life.
You don't just stumble upon certain things.
You're not.
Plan your way, you visualize it, and you make it a reality.
For instance, I know what I'm doing every weekend up until Christmas currently.
Okay, so your weekends are planned out.
Everything is like very regimented. Because I know, I'm not waiting around for someone to tell me, oh, I'm thinking of going here, are you free? It's like, I might be free, and I leave time and space for people, but I'm also intentional in maintaining relationships, going to visit people,
All right, Stefan, thank you so much for sharing with us. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
You said you're 25?
I'm 25.
I know, I can't believe you accomplished a lot in your short period
and
here
I feel
on
old.
Earth. And we hope that you will continue to represent your family well, and by extension Jamaica, since you're working overseas. All right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening to us for another week. We had a really inspiring talk with Mr. Richards here. Join us next time when we'll have another interesting person who will be sharing with us. Just to remind you before we go to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not yet done so. And also, if you want to be a part of our WhatsApp group, the number will be in the description below. Until next time, have a blessed week.